this video is a quick video about trying to find the best value in a combo amp that works well with an electric upright bass. So let me tell you a little bit about this bass first. It's an Ibanez UB804, so it's an electric upright with piezo bridge pickups, an active preamp. It has a volume control and essentially an active tone control that lets you roll off the highs. Some of Ibanez's videos show you, bowing it with the highs, a lot of the highs in, and that sounds pretty good. And then it sounds more like a plucked upright, acoustic upright when you roll some of those highs off. So now the thing is, unlike a typical electric bass, this upright produces just a massive amount of lows. And this is a fantastic instrument. You can adjust the action. The neck is big, but it actually is really comfortable in your hands. It's just that Ibanez just hit this one out of the park. This is a fabulous, fantastic instrument. It's lightweight, it plays well. You can set the action where it's just super easy to play. And it sounds great. It sounds great. Got massive lows. Typically for an upright bass, you don't want to come dragging something this size. In a typical restaurant, they're gonna go, "Oh my God, this group is too loud." Even before you play a note, if you're rolling in giant gear, right? So you want something smaller. Typically, it's gonna sound good because you're probably not playing at a rock concert level if you're playing an upright bass. So some of the smaller ones. So this bass produces so much lows that it distorts the input and or the output, the speakers of some of the smaller bass combos. So it's a little bit of a challenge to find a good amp that is lightweight, small in size, sounds really good. It's clear, has good clarity, but also produces good lows, and doesn't cost an arm and a leg. And so there's a few on the market. I've accumulated a few here. I am basing this comparison off of my old rig that's about 20 years old, which is a Gallagher Kruger. This is the MB210 ultralight series from about 20 years ago. This is a 210 combo amp that is 300 watts and weighs only 29 pounds. It's pretty powerful. It'll go pretty loud, and it's also one of those that if you add an extension cabinet, this is a 210 extension cabinet, its power output jumps to 500 watts. So I've got essentially a 400 or 500 watt 210 that I'm very used to hearing, and that's kind of what I compare most things to. Right now, to try some other, obviously, I don't even want to take the top half of this into a restaurant because it's immediately going to raise eyebrows. So what do we use? What do we use for this? I've got a few candidates that I've picked up to try out. A couple of these I'm going to sell off, a couple I'm going to keep. The one is a Peavey Max 208. This is a 200 watt 2x8 combo amp. It's tall and skinny. It's a little heavier than I would like for it to be. It weighs about 32 pounds, which I'm trying, when I say lightweight, I generally mean 30 pounds or less, but this is close enough. We'll leave it in there. It's got a great sound as long as you don't turn the volume too high. Turn the volume high with this electric upright, and you start to hear those little 2 8-inch drivers start to distort, and you can actually hear it. Sounds great as long as you don't turn it too loud. This one also is it's the right height to sit on if you actually want to sit and play. That actually saves a lot of you know, a lot of space, stage space, if you've got a small stage area, like a wine bar or a restaurant or something like that. Now, all of these sound good with electric bass. That's a little easier. Yeah, this Peavey 2.8 is a little louder with electric bass, but with an electric upright and all those massive lows it produces, that's a little bit of a different story. So another good candidate that I picked up and I've used a couple of gigs is this Hartke Kickback 12, and it's kind of an oddball shape. It lets you do that so that you can point it at your ears and hear it better. It has good tone shaping. It's got a very similar to the Peavey. It's got a very clear. It's got a very clear sound. You know, and it, unlike the Peavey, it will produce more lows. You know, you get a big blooming low end out of this up to a certain volume. At a certain volume, it starts to not get any louder. Now, I haven't heard it distort because I generally haven't needed to go that loud. This is 500 watts into a 4 ohm 12-inch driver. It's not a, yeah, I don't think it's a great driver. It's okay. It's one of their speakers that is partially aluminum and partially you know, paper. It's got a good sound, which you'll see when I actually go through some of the sound samples. I'll play through the GK first to let you hear that as kind of the reference point. Now, I have an interesting candidate here that I've had for a while, several years, like probably 5 years or something, and that is an Ashdown Studio 15. So this is a 300 watt combo amp that has a single 15-inch driver. It's a very interesting amp. It's very similar to a Fender, one of the Fender Rumble 200s. That is a 115 and 200 watts. This gives you 300 watts, which is 50% more power. You know, it's got a 5-band EQ. You've got bass, low mid, middle, high mid, treble. There's a volume, there's a pre-gain, and there's actually a drive. Now, the drive is very colorful. It doesn't sound very good in my opinion. I don't like it with an electric upright, but you can turn the drive completely off. It's much louder and it cuts through much better with some drive though. So this one works well for electric bass. It's probably my least favorite for upright, although I can make it work, right? This is also very lightweight. I think this is about 27 pounds. I put wheels on it just to make it easier to move around, but yeah, it's under 30 pounds. It's very easy to pick up. In my mind, this one versus the Fender, it's similar. This is smaller, it's a little bit lighter, and you're getting a little bit more power for a very similar kind of setup. Now, you cannot attach an extension cabinet to it. So your 300 watts is the max you're going to get out of it. And the last candidate, the fifth one, is a Markbass Mini CMD 121P. It's a very long name, but it's actually a very impressive little combo. It's a 112, 300 watts, similar to the Hartke Kickback. The difference with the Markbass is that it's you can add an extension cab. Now I have a 112 extension cabinet sitting behind it, and I've unplugged that. It's unplugged, so when you hear this, when you hear me play the same riff through all these different amps, you're going to hear just the combo, the Markbass combo without the extension cab. Toward the end, I'll hook it up so that you can hear what it sounds like with the extension cab. The GK, I'm not going to unplug the extension cab there. This is kind of my friend. You probably wouldn't buy one of these now. I don't know if you can even still find one of these now. You probably, and if you could, you probably wouldn't buy it to use it with an electric upright. So I'm going to give you the sample of this, just so you have a similar reference point to what I'm using. So we'll start with that. I'm recording this using my cell phone on the stand, but I have got an AKG a pretty high quality AKG stereo condenser microphone hooked up to it. So we should capture a very large bandwidth of sound. So you will be able to hear the lows accurately. When you're listening to this video though, you won't get those accurate low frequencies through your cell phone speakers or even computer speakers. Pull it up on like your TV, YouTube on your TV, or put earbuds in or use headphones, something that will reproduce the low frequencies well. So that said, so that's enough. That's probably enough talk. Let's get on to a little demo here. I'm going to play first through the GK because that's what I'm used to hearing. Now I've got all the amps set flat, pretty much a default of where you would probably start from to set anything. The EQs are all right in the middle. Any kind of special filters are turned off. Drive is turned off if the amp has drive. So here we go. This is the GK. Let's move it to the Peavey 208, going in the active input. And all of these also, I have the gain set right at 12 o'clock, right in the middle. I've got the master set at 12 o'clock, right in the middle, and true of this guy too. Here we go, same read. Peavey 208. Let's move it to the Hartke Kickback 112. Everything's set in the middle, volume's halfway up. Here we go. Let's go to the Ashdown Studio 15. Volume in the middle, pre-gain in the middle, no drive dialed in. Here we go. 15. Now, let's go to the Markbass CMD 121P and put the master halfway, gains in the middle, filters are flat, EQs at noon. Here we go. Between these, while I want to like the Peavey, you have to really like a very mid-focus sound. You can dial more lows in, but it's only going to give you so much low end because it's 200 watts and two small drivers. I'm actually now here's one of the reasons to consider this though. You could dial in, if you're playing a very low volume, like you're using it as a practice amp, or you are recording with it, that should work fine. If you're playing with a fairly quiet group, like maybe a couple of acoustic guitars and a cajon player, it would definitely hold its own in that kind of case. I think if you brought this to play with a drummer that was either moderately loud or louder instruments to a PA system, you definitely need PA support. Or you may just use it as your own personal monitor, with your bass coming out of this running into the PA. That would certainly work fine. The Hartke is actually pretty impressive. Once you get past halfway up though, it won't go a whole heck of a lot louder, but it actually sounds really good, and you've got quite a bit of tone shaping. There's no drive on it. It's very clean and it's very clear, but it still has some punchy low end, or some warm low end that's nice. If you compare the Markbass and the Hartke, they're both 112s. The Markbass, I think, is about the same weight. They're both just under 30 pounds. The Markbass is a little smaller physically. It's the same width, not quite as tall. It's a little shorter, and also you can't see it in the video, but the back, because of the trapezoid shape to make it a kickback cabinet, the back sticks out. So it's about 2 inches taller, 2 or 3 inches taller. It's about 2 or 3 inches wider on the back. Now, the Markbass is much more clear, but you can turn one knob and dial in a lot more low end. And I am going to turn the volume down. I'm going to show you this. I'm going to turn the volume down. I am going to stack this 112 on top of its extension cabinet, and then I'm going to plug up the extension cabinet. And now you should be able to hear. If it's plugged in. Now you should be able to hear this, both of them. When you connect the extension cab, you now have a 500 watt 212, and this is actually pretty impressive. So, and you can probably tell from this video that for me personally, the Markbass is the winner of this contest, particularly given that it's loud enough and punchy enough and warm enough lows to hold its own, in a quieter gig with just the 112 combo. And then when you stack them together, you've got a rig that's got as much punch almost as the GK does. So here, let's do like this. Here we go. That's very growly. I'm going to dial in one of the filters here that Warms it up just a little. Shaking the walls, or I'm sure you can tell that was shaking the walls. Let's go back and compare it to my old GK rig. It's got a lot more speaker area. Back to Markbass. My lovely wife just arrived. She didn't know I was recording a video, so I'm kidding. But obviously, the Markbass stack is almost as loud and as powerful as this older GK 410 rig. So, price wise, I don't think you can buy this anymore unless you find it, really, really old. The Peavey 208 is about around $500 new. This is 2026. This is May 2026. The Peavey is about $500 new. You can find them around $250, $300 used. So it is a good value. That's actually one of the least expensive combo amps that will actually work with this monster. The Hartke is a little pricier. It's about $700 new, and you can find them used for around $350, $400. So at that price, that feels like a good value. Just keep in mind you can't make it louder by attaching you can't use an extension cabinet with it. You could unplug the existing speaker and attach the amp to something else, but you can't put it on top of an extension cabinet and plug another extension cabinet in. The Ashdown, while it's got lots of lows, it doesn't have the right, or for my taste, it doesn't have the right clarity for this guy. It's great for electric bass. It's probably my least favorite for this electric upright. However, it would still work. It just seems like if you're choosing between a larger package and a smaller package, and they sound about the same, even this more clear, maybe, I don't know, your mileage may vary, but this is probably my least favorite. This is clearly, I think you can probably tell that this is clearly my favorite. This is a very potent rig with a very small footprint. a small package. You know, they're about under 30 pounds each. I think the combo piece is 28, 27, 28 pounds. The extension cabinet is 29 pounds. I don't know why it's larger or it's heavier than the combo amp, but it is. It's a very small package. And where these come in behind is price. The combo amp is about $1,000 new. You can find them used for $500 or $600. There are some older models that you know, can be had at a pretty good price. You know, the extension cabinet, they're maybe hard to find used. I don't know what I think they're $500 new. Around 300 used. You may be able to find it a little bit better. So that's, hope this is useful to you. Hope this helps somebody else who has bought an electric upright and you're looking for a small amp that is very capable and not too heavy, not too crazy expensive, not boutique level gear that's crazy expensive. You know, something though that you can walk into a restaurant and they don't freak out and go, oh my God, this group's too loud because they're bringing in big amps. You know, but then also something that you can keep up. You can add an extension cabinet and keep up with a drum that's actually fairly loud. So anyway, hope you enjoyed this.